Hey, welcome to the Micheaux Mission, Two Men, One Podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Len, aka the Bat Tribble. And as always, I am joined by my partner.
Hey, this is Vincent Williams.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is May 2nd. And more importantly, it is that time where we ask the eternal question, Mother, may I have another one of those bad black movies?
Oh, bad black movies.
Vincent's favorite time of the year.
Yeah, it's like having a root canal once a year. For a month.
For a whole month.
For
a whole month, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
We are going to be bringing you nothing but the creme de la creme of African-American film awfulness.
Yes.
Kicking things off with Vincent's selection from 1995, that Taebo master himself, Billy Blanks.
Billy Blanks.
And when he's around, you can expect no mercy.
No mercy at all.
No mercy.
No mercy
indeed.
at all. At all.
Oh boy, I can't wait. I can't wait to sink our teeth into this and tell you all about what's going on this month here on the Micheaux Mission. But first, as always, we want to give a shout out to each and every one of you who are out there joining us as we stream live to YouTube and Facebook and destinations far and wide via our good friends at Restream and from the Video Content Factory, Philadelphia's premier podcast recording studio. And shout out to each and every one of you out there in the chat. Hello.
Good evening, one and all.
Vincent, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well.
How was your weekend?
It was a good weekend.
Yeah?
Good weekend. Friend of mine got married, so it's always good. You know,
That's always good.
love weddings, birthday parties, and graduations.
Yeah?
So
Nice. Was it like was it a nice wedding? Was it a
it
big
was.
wedding?
It was. We went out of town.
Really?
Yeah, we were on a resort.
Destination wedding.
A destination wedding. So it was nice. You know, got a little sun and sat in the pool.
Ooh.
Had drinks.
In the pool?
I mean, copious amounts of alcohol and water. What could possibly go wrong?
Very nice.
Yeah, so and yourself?
I and a couple of friends, we went to the NFL draft this weekend in Kansas City and had a ball.
Excellent.
Rooting on the Eagles, who many consider won the draft, as it were.
Oh, well, I'm glad.
With all of our picks. And we enjoyed copious amounts of barbecue.
All right. Were you in a pool eating barbecue?
We were not in a pool.
Okay.
In a barbecue. I was laying on a bed.
Okay, excellent.
Eating barbecue.
Excellent. You had to meet sweats. Like you eat so much, you had to meat sweats.
I didn't have meat sweats.
None had to meat sweats. Okay.
I didn't have meat sweats. But what I did have, I was there in Kansas City for 3 days.
Okay.
And I did manage to have one salad.
Well, your arteries thank you for that.
Hey, I wanted to eat right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that out of the way,
Okay.
which is what I said to the salad.
Yeah.
I turned to our show, ladies and gentlemen, and we kick things off, as always, with missives from
The missionaries. Oh, who do we hear from?
We heard from Michelle Jacobs.
Hey, Michelle.
She actually listened, went back into the archives a little bit.
Okay.
And listened to our review of Strictly Business.
Oh, okay.
Which is a movie that we reviewed alongside Dorian and Simone.
I was about to say that was with the
friends of the
Mystics.
show.
Yeah.
Michelle says, I played this episode again recently while I was traveling.
Okay.
Oh my God, I laughed even harder than the first time. She says that Simone Missick,
Yes.
needs to do more comedy.
I've said that literally for years.
We have said that to her face.
For years.
All of you were so funny. I'm sorry, however, Oscar-winning actress Halle Berry was terrible in this movie.
She was not good. In her defense, she didn't have a lot to work with.
She did not have a lot to work with or work against, and this is very early in her career.
Right. I think the only direction that was given to her was to be pretty.
Pretty much. And I think she nailed that.
Well, she nailed that.
Yes.
Yeah, she's got that down.
Yeah. You
Like Ms. Berry, we need you to be pretty.
Yes. Just walk into this set.
Right. So you know.
There you go. We also heard from Morgan Robinson.
Hey, what's up, Morgan?
Hi, Vincent Len. I recently discovered you from your visit to Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
And
New friends of the show.
We love that.
Love them brothers.
And I have been hooked ever
And
since.
sisters.
Y'all have been helping me push through the end of my semester, and I really appreciate hearing your hilarious and insightful thoughts on so many films. Well, you as a college professor should be able to appreciate that.
Always.
Do you hear from any of your students saying that we helped them get through the semester?
I don't. I try and keep things compartmentalized.
Okay, all right.
It's almost like a secret identity.
Really?
I mean, not really.
So they don't know that you do a podcast?
They don't. I don't have like an alias or anything.
But you're teaching, aren't you like teaching pop culture?
Sometimes there's a lot of overlap.
And yet. Okay.
All right.
Well, there you go. That's marketing 101, ladies.
Oh yeah.
Morgan continues, I love a bad black movie, so your Mother May I series during my birthday month has been a particular favorite of mine.
Well, Morgan, we got one for you tonight.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to recommend a couple of movies I haven't seen you all cover, but I think are great candidates for the series.
Okay.
Def Jam's How to Be a Player and Gigi is directed by Chris Sherratt of Have Plenty fame and is a modern retelling of The Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
It's also a poorly acted, hot-ass mess. Except for Blair Underwood being Blair Underwood.
Yeah, Blair Underwood replaced the Tom character.
Oh, really? Okay. I've not seen this. I have not seen it at all. How to Be a Player is one of my bad black movie comfort watches. It's so ridiculous that I can't look away. I hope these are interesting suggestions and can one day make it onto the mission. Keep up the fantastic work. Best of to you, Morgan. So you're familiar with this Gigi?
Yeah. As she said, it is a hip hop reinterpretation of The Great Gatsby, and it actually makes perfect sense because I'm pretty sure I saw it. It kind of frames Gatsby almost like a puffy character. Like, you know, the whole, like, I don't know if you've read The Great Gatsby since high school. Do you remember the story? Like Jay Gatsby is nouveau rich.
Right. He's new rich.
He's new rich.
Right.
He had fallen in love with this woman named Daisy, who was kind of old money when he was in the military. Now when he was poor. He got money, and it's real shaky and kind of sketchy how he got the money.
Okay.
Now he has money and meets back up with Daisy in the Hamptons. That's from the novel.
Okay.
So this is sort of the same story. And Daisy is married to a dude who's like old money.
Okay.
Complications occur.
Of course.
And in the movie, Gatsby, like even in the book, Gatsby is like, I don't know if he's a bootlegger or...
Which would make sense for around the time that it's set.
Right.
Early of 2020.
Right. It's like the jazz age. He's like a bootlegger or like he's a criminal ass dude.
Right.
And then in Gigi or G, because I thought it was just G.
Okay.
I don't remember G, but he's like puffy, basically.
Okay.
So I don't know if he's a hip hop mogul or something. But anyway, it goes from there. Blair Underwood plays...
The puffy character?
No, Blair Underwood Tom is Daisy's husband in the novel. So Tom is the old money dude. So it makes, you think about it, Blair Underwood very much seems like a dude who's like third generation, upper middle class. And
okay. Well,
so,
I wasn't sure what year this was. So.
It's like, it's Blair Underwood, so he looked like he's 35.
That's very
since
true.
1950 52.
That's
so,
true.
Blair Underwood plays like the Tom character. What's my man's name? Richard Jones?
Richard T. Jones.
Richard T. Jones, I think, plays Gatsby.
Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting casting.
And then old girl who played Haviland in Have Plenty plays the Daisy character.
Whoops. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting a call, even as we speak. That's bad podcasting.
It is. I thought maybe it was like Chris Sherrock calling to give us an update on the film. Anyway, I don't remember the film. No. Oh, I don't remember the film at all, but Morgan says it's terrible.
It's a hot piece of
Morgan says it's terrible.
Piece of mess. And recommends it for Mother May I. Yeah. So maybe.
How you feel about Players Club? I mean, How to Be a Player. How you feel about Bill Bellamy?
I'm not a Bill Bellamy fan for the most part. And he's not anyone I could ever thought I would see leading a film. Mm-hmm. I think I've seen How to Be a Player, but if I have, I remember nothing about it, which makes sense.
I think Bill Bellamy, because I have a visceral kind of distaste for him.
Yeah.
Which makes me think he's good at his job.
Well, I think Bill Bellamy counts himself first as a comedian.
Right.
And I've never found him to be that funny as a comedian. So
right, but I think that's his whole
his
deal. Like I think he's always
Is he supposed to be like swarmy?
Yeah,
or something like
right. Like I always think about him in Love Jones, where I thought he was perfect.
Yeah, see, in Love Jones, he's not bad, but I think I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks that he is supposed to be, like, that's supposed to be Terrence Howard in that role in Love Jones. Like, bad, but there's still, like, you could see why he's still one of the boys. Yeah. Right? And Bill Bellamy, like, you don't understand why they are hanging out with him. Right. At all. Especially after, he gets with Nia Long.
Right.
So, yeah, he just doesn't do it for me. I understand that he's like everybody's friend in Hollywood. God bless.
That's why I think it's got to be an act, and he's just really good at it.
I don't know.
But Morgan, we will put both of those on the docket.
We got one more email. Vincent. And this is from Donde.
Hey, Donde.
I am so upset that I am now just finding out about this podcast in 2023.
Oh, okay, good.
You guys...
It was an emotional roller coaster.
You guys are such a joy to listen to, and you've reignited my love of Black cinema.
Oh, good.
I was honored to have been taught by the great Professor Donald Bogle as a Rutgers underground and fangirl whenever I see him on classic movie channels. I enjoy watching all types of films, series, etc., and often find myself watching alone as my husband enjoys more action-type movies.
Okay.
My son enjoys anime and encourages me to watch from time to time, but thankfully, my daughter has agreed to enroll in Mama's School of Blackity Black Movies You Should Know, and now I have a whole new list of films we can watch together thanks to the Micheaux mission.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Lastly, how do I get my Tribble name? I need one.
Oh, that's Tribble business.
That's Tribble business.
That's Tribble business.
Tribble business.
So you can take care of that. Email her, let her know.
I will email
Send her the form.
Let her know how she can come with her own Tribble nom de plume.
Right. You need a blue pen, not a black pen.
You have a Tribble name.
Yeah.
It's Jack.
Jack Tribble, that's right. Jack of all trades, master of none.
That's right. And I'm the Bad Tribble, and we have Tribbles of all shapes and sizes. Mm-hmm. We will actually have a few Tribbles on here on the show later in the summer. So,
okay. There you go.
Stay tuned. And maybe at that time, Donde, we can induct you into our Tribble Nation. All right? Sounds good?
Sounds great.
All right.
All right.
Speaking of Tribble stuff, this is a perfect segue.
Ooh, programming.
Because the Black Tribbles was a podcast that I did for over 10 years, which looked at being a geek from, a Black point of view. And we would get into everything super geeky. Movies, cartoons, anime, video games, and comic books, which is where our geek, along with movies and television, kind of like coincides. Right. Because you're a huge geek.
Oh.
I wanted to have fun for the top 5. I know usually we try to connect it with the movies.
Sure.
But who wants to connect with this stuff?
Oh, I think you could make it, but go ahead.
You could, but that would just be a waste of time.
Okay.
So I wanted to do something fun for you.
Okay.
Vincent. And this week's top 5. Oh, the top 5 music is playing.
All right.
Well, we'll just let the top 5 music play.
My top 5 is. My top 5 is. My top 5 is. My top 5 is.
All right. Top 5.
Top 5.
This week, Vincent, in honor of you, who is a huge comic book head.
I am.
This is the top 5. The DC in DC Comics stands for Dumb Crackers.
Oh, my goodness.
Because this is 5 times where DC Comics got race in comics totally wrong.
Totally wrong. Oh, only 5.
Only 5.
Okay.
Well, it's the top 5.
Okay, all right.
All right. Starting with number 5.
Okay, let's see if I can contain my nerd rage, because there's a couple I think of that get me real worked up. So all right, what's number 5?
I think this one may be one, I don't know whether or not you've actually ever thought about this.
All right, what is it?
But DC's response, number 5, DC's response to Black Panther was a white guy as the only superhero in Africa.
Wait, is this Bawana Beast?
I know my Vincent.
That wasn't an answer to Black Panther, though.
6 months. A mere 6 months after Marvel debuted Black Panther, the first black superhero in mainstream comics, DC presented a Africa-based hero of their own by the catchy name of Bawana Beast, the Jungle Master.
Wow.
Now, for context, Rupert Zambezi Kamboya was the son of a rich tribal chief who was Bawana Beast's best friend.
Yes. I'm familiar with the whole... Yeah, I just didn't know it was that...
Rupert Kamboya is a black character, as you might guess. The actual hero of the show is the generic blonde guy next to him, Mike Maxwell.
That's right.
Which is possibly the whitest possible name calculated. Who uses his superior physique and animal-related powers to save African villagers who either ignorantly hate him or rabidly idolize him.
I was going to say worship him. That's right.
Bawana, by the way, means boss or master.
Yes, it does.
In Swahili.
Yes, it does.
And was a word often used by natives in old jungle movies to praise their white saviors. Bawana Beast was supposed to have a 5-issue miniseries in 1967, but it was canceled after the second one because none of DC's artists wanted anything to do with the book.
I did not know Bawana Beast premiered in the 60s. I could have sworn this was a 50s thing.
No, the 60s. And not just the 60s. 6 months after Black Panther.
Wow. That is crazy. You know Grant Morrison fixes this in Animal Man.
Does he? Does he make him black?
Well, yeah.
No, he does.
Mike Maxwell hands the mantle to a black guy, and they change the name to Freedom Beast. And wow.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that this happened 6 months after Black Panther, because what happens the month that Black Panther comes out with DC. I'm wondering if it's on this list.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know.
Well, let's see.
Let's
If it's
continue.
not, I always, because this is one of the things that enrages me to no end. So go ahead.
All right. Well, number 4.
Number 4.
DC Comics wouldn't let a Legion of Superheroes
There
character
it
be
is.
black, so
That's right.
the writer just killed him.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, it's not what you think. I know what you're thinking about.
Right.
This is not what you're thinking about.
Who
I think
you-
I know what you're
Wait,
thinking
okay,
about.
so who is this?
The Legion of Superheroes, who you are aware of.
Yes.
Was a DC comic starring a whole bunch of superheroes who were in their teens. Mm-hmm. They were famously written by teenage Jim Shooter,
That's right.
who started writing it in 1966.
When he was 13.
14 actually. He decided it would be groovy if at least one of these super people, who were all either white or because they were alien,
Green,
of different colors,
orange,
green, orange, or whatever. He decided that it would be groovy if at least one of them was black. So on his first issue, he introduced a character named Pharaoh Lad,
Yeah, that's it.
planning to later take off his mask and reveal that he was in fact a dark-skinned black man. The idea was that no one would even comment on his race because the comic was set in the 30th century.
Right, which is
when-
important.
It was important to know, which is when mankind doesn't even remember what the whole racism thing
Right.
was about.
Right.
Unfortunately, the book set in the 30th century was produced in the 20th century, where Jim Shooter's editors vetoed the idea
Editors, or one editor in particular?
because DC would lose distribution in the South.
Yes.
Even when Shooter offered to keep Pharaoh Lad's mask on the whole time, the editor still thought that this unseen blackface would be too much for America to handle. Frustrated, Shooter dealt with this setback by coming up with a story that required Pharaoh Lad to blow himself up and essentially sacrifice himself
Right.
for the fate of the world.
Right.
Jim Shooter said in his own words, "I killed him off because it annoyed me that I couldn't do with him what I wanted."
Yes. He doesn't take his mask off. In fact, they say in the story, Jim Shooter's commentary was, he said, "I can't take my mask off because my visage is too horrible
Yes.
to be seen,"
Right.
which was a direct reference to the racial issue. And after that, like when they've used the character since, he's had a horribly disfigured face. But
right.
that was Jim Shooter directly talking about race. And I like to call the bastard out. You're saying editors, Mort Weisinger
Yes. It was Mort Weisinger.
is the editor who said you can't be black. And Mort Weisinger made a number of decisions.
Oh, yes.
During his tenure as DC's editor-in-chief about race. And talking about putting it within context, apparently this was 6 months before Bwana Beast, because this is the same month that Black Panther premiered in Fantastic Four.
It was the same, and I think it was the same month. That was the month that Pharaoh Lad died. I think Pharaoh Lad had been introduced earlier.
Right, but it's the same month, the Pharaoh Lad, Black Panther. Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, that's this is my one right here.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Whew. 3 more, huh?
We got 3 more.
All right, go
All
ahead.
right.
Are they all doing Mort Weisinger's reign?
That's a good question. I would say no.
Okay.
Number 3,
Number 3.
perhaps. Number 3, the planet Krypton and Earth's utopian future were both racially segregated.
Yes. Yes.
Now, this was one that I did not know beforehand. In the 70s, DC Comics realized that it was time to address the fact that their version of the 30th century, as we pointed out, was pretty much primarily white. So instead of saying that, hey, the black people just didn't appear in the panel, their solution was like the brother was just around the corner. That wasn't it. Their solution was to reveal that black people were there all along. They just happened to live in an all-black island
Marzol.
called Marzal.
That's right.
And not only was an island that was all black, this island drifted in and out of this dimension
It wasn't around all the time.
every 200 years or so.
Right.
The U.S. Had just gotten rid of segregation, and DC was already trying to give it a crappy sci-fi reboot.
Right.
Marzal, however, served as an excuse to introduce a black hero.
Yes.
If you can consider a Jim Brown wannabe with sound powers and a disco-themed suit, a hero.
His power was yelling. Tyrock's power was yelling.
He was a loud, angry black man
Who had the power of yelling?
named Tyrock.
Which just coincidentally sounds like Tyrone.
Exactly.
It's just a coincidence.
Don't think that was lost on people. The artist who designed the character, Mike Grell, says that he had been trying to introduce a black character for a while, but he kept getting stalled off by the editors.
I think this might still be Weisinger.
It is, because he was the head of the
this is
superhero.
still Weisinger, yeah.
But then they sprung Tyrock on him. Mike Grell immediately hated the whole concept, so he intentionally gave Tyrock a stupid costume somewhere between an Elvis Las Vegas costume and something that you would imagine a pimp on a street corner wearing. He succeeded, and no one used the Legion's first black character for over 10 years.
Yeah.
Or very sparingly.
Yeah.
Thereafter.
Tyrock always ended up on monitor duty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I knew about that.
Yeah.
The part that I didn't know about was that Superman's editor
Mort Weisinger.
was dealing with the same problem and came up with the same solution. How come you never saw any black people in the dozens of flashback stories set on the planet Krypton?
That's right.
Because
That's right. It was a colony of super N-words on Krypton.
they all lived together in Bathflow Island,
Okay, yes.
condescendingly described as the home of a highly developed black race.
Yes.
In other words,
Yes.
DC Comics'
Yeah.
idea of a futuristic utopian society
Yeah.
consisted of cramming all the black people in the universe onto islands that may not even exist in the same dimension as ours and occasionally forgot about them.
Yes. Yeah. Mort Weisinger is one of my sacred cows, my comic book sacred cows that I fight any man over.
Yeah. Number 2.
There are still two
There's still 2 more
more. Okay, what's
examples
number 2?
where the DC
Yeah.
and DC Comics
Yeah.
stands for dumbass crackers.
Yeah, what's number 2?
The Green Lantern, known as John Stewart,
Yes.
was almost named Lincoln Washington.
Shut the fuck up. You are lying.
No, I am not. Green Lantern John Stewart
I can't even do the what is the name that white people think black people have? That's wow, that wins.
Now, the whole story of how John Stewart came about is full of narrowly avoided awfulness. In the Green Lantern comics, magic rings from outer space find the most fearless person in each part of the universe and induct them into the cosmic police force known as the Green Lantern Corps.
Sure.
On Earth, the first and second worthiest people happen to be white American males.
Sure. That would of course be Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner.
Right. When artist Neil Adams asked his editor if he thought the ring's third pick should be white too. The editors said yes, obviously, to sell comics.
Yes.
They'd already shown, mind you, in the Green Lantern Corps that there are pink,
Yeah.
orange,
Sure.
and blue Green Lanterns.
As one does.
There are even cat
They're
lanterns.
just cat lantern.
But one who looks like some of their own readers who
Yeah.
were black,
Yeah.
that was just considered commercial suicide.
Sure. Southern distributors is what I always hear about.
Right. So Neil Adams convinced the editor to give the idea of a black Green Lantern a try, but he had to go out of his way to make it clear that he wasn't willing to draw a gang member or some primitive tribesman or a 19th century slave who'd just fallen into a time warp.
This is fantastic.
Adams insisted that it had to be a regular person with a regular person name.
Sure.
The next hiccup came when Adams colored Stewart with a realistic black skin tone, not the gray or khaki color that was used back then.
Sure.
And DC head of production said, Neil, this is a very awfully brown color you use. Don't you think that some black people will be offended? Yeah, because black folks love seeing themselves colored as if they were made out of pants.
Sure,
No,
absolutely.
It was colored
Sure,
brown.
Sure.
Fortunately, Adams stuck to his guns, and DC ended up with this first African-American superhero and proceeded to ignore him for the next 10 years as well. However, there was a moment where his name was originally going to be Lincoln Washington, and is only because of Neil Adams' adamant veto.
So did Denny O'Neil? Was Denny O'Neil gonna? Denny O'Neil was the writer.
Right.
Neil Adams is the artist. So was Denny O'Neil gonna name him Lincoln Washington?
It doesn't say here that it was Denny O'Neil. I want to think, just because of what I have read,
About Denny. Right. This
About
doesn't
Denny
even sound like
O'Neil.
something he'd do.
that it sounds like anything that he would do. It sounds like this is something like the editors
This came
tried
from
to-
upstairs?
Came from upstairs.
Okay.
And Neil Adams, by everything we know about him, Neil
Right.
was about doing what Neil wanted to do.
Right. I'm not drawing that.
Yeah, and by this time he had the stroke to kind of like call
Yeah,
it a shot.
absolutely.
He was the one to put his foot down, and thus we had John Stewart.
Lincoln Washington
Yes.
is the greatest racist name I've ever heard in my entire life.
I feel like I've heard
Like it beat Tyrock.
Yeah. I feel like Lincoln Washington, like there's a Lincoln Washington out there in like the geek sphere somewhere.
Lincoln?
Somewhere.
All right. Is number one the Brown Bomber?
Let's see.
Okay.
Number one.
Number
The
one.
number one reason why the DC and DC Comics stands for dumbass crackers.
Is
Black Lightning
okay.
was almost a racist white guy
Yeah.
who turns black.
That's right.
Under stress.
So it's the Brown Bomber.
It's the Brown Bomber.
It's the Brown Bomber.
Fun fact, ladies and gentlemen, all you lovers of the CW's Black Lightning show, that easily could have been the CW's Brown Bomber, or the Black Bomber, actually.
Tell the missionaries about the bomber.
Okay, I will tell you about this. The Black Bomber was a white racist who had the superpower of turning black under stress.
Yes.
This was due to experiments performed on him during the Vietnam War
Yeah.
to let white soldiers blend into the jungle because that's easier than just spending $10 on some camo paint. Now,
Tax dollars at work.
some of you, I'm sure, are asking, how do you know that the guy was racist? No. He was so racist that the original script included a scene where he accidentally saved a black baby and was horrified that he, quote unquote, risked his life for a jungle bunny. And it's not like he starts racist and then reconsiders
Right.
his
No,
position
no.
because he has to live as a black man. Because his secret identity as the Black Bomber is so secret that even he doesn't know about it.
Right. That's right.
The heroic Black Bomber himself also lives in blissful ignorance that he is in fact the split personality of a white racist.
Yeah.
Writers Jerry Conway and Bob Kanigher wrote 2 scripts for this series in 1976, but weren't able to continue for whatever reason. DC was determined to publish their first comic headlined by a black superhero, so they asked Tony Isabella, who had written Luke Cage
Yes.
for Marvel, to punch up the scripts a little bit
Yes.
and continue with the story. Isabella had a better idea, flushed this dreck down the toilet, and used the completely different character he invented called Black Lightning.
Yes.
And thus a crisis
Yes.
was avoided.
Postscript?
Postscript about Black Lightning.
No, about Black Bomber.
Oh, about the Black Bomber, what?
Dwayne McDuffie, the late great Dwayne McDuffie, who wrote a run of the Justice League
Yeah.
back in the early aughts, and he actually brought the character Black Bomber in.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, and like Vixen and John Stewart, like they were, they clowned him. But yeah,
But he brought like the Black Bomber in
canonical.
as written, a
As
white racist.
It was the Black Bomber.
Get out of here.
Like the white dude came in, I think maybe he could control his powers, but then he turned to a black dude in a hoodie with an afro.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So he's actually in continuity.
Oh my God. You know what? I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I like Dwayne, because Dwayne McDuffie, God bless
Yes.
that man. He wants you to face your
That's
demons.
right. That's right. That's why whenever any of this comes up, I will Mort Weisinger you from, because the editor. No, it wasn't no editors. It was Mort Weisinger.
There you go.
So
There you go.
And that is comic history for the missionaries.
There you go, ladies and
There
gentlemen.
you go. Well done.
Farrell Blackwell says, why do I feel there's an unpublished panel somewhere of a black superhero doing jazz hands?
Yeah. Last little blackie, because he said unpublished. You know what one of my grails is?
What?
You know Jack Kirby, when he came back to DC, or when he came to DC, he pitched a whole bunch of ideas. That's, That's how we got the Fourth World, Dark Side, this, and one of his ideas was a romance comic that featured black people.
Yes.
You remember the name?
No.
Soul Love.
Soul Love.
Was never published, but there's
He's got some art.
there's art floating around.
Yeah.
There's art floating around, and I'm not an original art person, but like if I had the opportunity, I always wanted to own the art from Soul Love.
Ooh. Do you ever go diving?
I don't at all, because I'm scared that I won't find it, but then I'm also scared that I will find it. And I'm not sure how I present that at the family meeting.
What do you mean? Oh, that you spent this much money? Because it's gonna.
So, hun, I took out a loan for $20,000.
Oh yeah, I do remember reading about that. You know, the next best thing is probably to buy the Jack Kirby Collector quarterly magazine.
Oh, I've seen the art.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've seen all the art. Yeah, so.
All right.
But yeah. Oh, Robert Monroe Jr., Black Bomber, appeared in JLA 26.
Nice.
That's what I'm thinking about. That's right.
So, okay, we're about to leave Geek Corner, ladies and gentlemen. Just bear with me for 2
This
seconds.
is Lynn's fault.
Yeah, it's my fault. It's my fault. Trust me. There's no rush to get to the movie. The Dwayne McDuffie run on JLA, right? I kind of liked it, But then I kind of dipped and dabbed up out of it because I'm an art guy. Mm-hmm. And some of the art didn't really 100% land with me. And plus, I heard he was getting a lot of interference with his stories.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you,
Yeah.
how does it all read?
I have no memory of it, and you can make of that what you will.
Okay.
But I also think you owe it to yourself to have Dwayne McDuffie's run of everything now that he's passed.
Well, yeah. No, I hear you on that. I
So.
definitely hear you on that. I may have to go, like,
I'm sure it's collected.
yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I'm sure it's collected.
I'm sure it is. So I'm going to have to check that out. All right.
All right.
It is ready. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the Game of Kings.
Someone who isn't an embarrassment to 1970s DC Comics.
That's the key. Like,
All right, which
you're
was it?
surprised what a person can do with just a sense of touch and a sense of sound.
Ever tell you about Chip Delaney? DC Comics story.
Chip Delaney?
Samuel Delaney.
Oh,
When he was going to write Wonder Woman. Ever tell you this story? All right, well, we can do that later. It's a great story.
6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin, ladies and gentlemen, where Vincent will attempt to connect in 6 movies or less to an actor that I give him. D'Urville Martin, 70s soul love man.
A one-man soul lover.
He was. Vincent, are you ready?
I am ready.
Now, again, I didn't want to connect to this stupid movie.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, I mean, look, if I connected to this movie, it would have been all like Israeli actors. Like, how are you going to connect to them? There's only one outside of Billy Blanks and perhaps Wolf Larson, who I only know from Billy Blank movies. Mm-hmm. There's only one other actor in this film that we're going to be reviewing who at least I knew from other stuff, and I mostly know her from television.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I didn't connect to her, but I did find
Okay.
other actors to connect, and I guess now that I think about it, there is a tangential connection
Okay.
to Expect No Mercy, because Expect No Mercy features Billy Blanks, but it also features his brother is in this movie as well. Mm-hmm. I think Michael Blanks.
Yeah. They actually look like it's actually
You can see it.
in a film of nonsense. It's actually kind of distracting.
Yes, because you're thrown off a little bit.
It's like, are they using Billy Blank's stunt double as a character?
No, it's his brother.
Yeah.
It's his brother. So because of that, I selected 2 actors who have other actors in their family.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
And number 1, in 6 films or less,
6 films or less.
connect D'Urville Martin
D'Urville Martin.
to
2.
William Baldwin.
Billy Baldwin?
Yes.
Billy Baldwin. Mm-hmm. See, my problem is I don't know if I'm looking at him or Steven.
Ah, that's good. That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, name the movie and I'll tell you which one you're looking at. Remember, Steven primarily did goofy movies.
Is that Steven in Posse?
In Posse, I believe that is Steve. That's Steven because he's like a nut. He's like a
Yeah,
nut
yeah,
job in that.
yeah.
Yes.
What the hell was Billy in?
He's got a pretty extensive filmography. There's at least 1 or 2 movies I'm pretty sure you're aware of.
Cause did he become like a pundit or something?
Oh, does he? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I know
don't
one of-
all the Baldwins believe that everybody wants to hang on to every word?
No, I think like one of the Baldwins is a real asshole. I think it might be Billy.
Which one is that? They're
No,
all.
no.
They've all got.
What's the
assholes
last
in
thing
them.
Billy was in?
Last thing that Billy Baldwin was in 20. Well, he was in something called South Wind that came out sometime this year.
And was he in weird religious stuff? Like, I thought Billy was like on some real weird, like some conservative type.
Maybe. He did a movie in 2019 that is a direct-to-video sequel to the movie that is probably his biggest hit.
Which is what?
Well, if I tell you, oh, well, this will help you. So we don't not here all day. Backdraft 2.
Billy Baldwin was in Backdraft?
Yeah. He's like one of the main stars in that movie.
All right. And Backdraft is,
You only need to know one other name.
Wait, Backdraft.
Good film.
It is a good film. I feel like it's one of them. It's not. Well, the bad thing is I'm seeing Old Boy. Wait, Backdraft. It's not Bruce Willis. Or Kevin Costner.
I think you're working around it.
Tom Cruise.
Oh, please. Tom Cruise doesn't need any other stars. And there's a little bit of a small ensemble in Backdraft.
I am blanking on who's in Backdraft, and I'm looking right at it. It's not Michael Keaton.
No, not Michael Keaton.
Yeah, who's Backdraft? Who was that?
Starting from the bottom, J.T. Walsh,
Okay.
Jason Gedrick.
Jason Gedrick. That's. You know what? Don't go any further. I'll use Jason Gedrick.
You sure?
I'm absolutely positive because Derville Martin is in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Sidney Poitier, who's in
I know where you're going.
who's in A Raisin in the Sun with Louis Gossett Jr., who's in Iron Eagle with Jason Gedrick, who apparently is in Backdraft with Billy Baldwin.
Yes, who's in Backdraft with Billy Baldwin,
But who's its star?
Robert De Niro, Donald Sutherland, Rebecca De Mornay, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Scott Glenn, William Baldwin, who is the second, and its star, Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, that's who you were working your way around.
Right. Kurt Russell, who we'll be discussing next week when you do Solo, because I was thinking about his version of Solo, which was it Soldier? Soldier.
Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking about Kurt Russell. Yeah, okay. All right.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, you got there.
Yeah.
Took you a little bit, but you got there.
Yeah.
All right, this next one I think is going to be a lot easier.
All right.
In 6 movies or less,
All right. Family of actors. Who we got?
connect Derville Martin
Derville Martin.
to
2.
Goldie Hawn.
Oh. Well. We actually have a little fun. I can get to Goldie Hawn really quickly.
I know.
But since you brought him up, let's see if I can do this. Because Derville Martin. Oh, I think I can do this. Let me get my connection. So Derville Martin, stop. Sorry. Because I gotta make sure I stitch it together just right.
Yeah, don't pull the wrong string.
Derville Martin. Mm-hmm. There it is. All right. I hope I don't. Okay. I don't want to run out. Okay. So Derville Martin is in Dolomite with Rudy Ray Moore.
Right.
Rudy Ray Moore is in The Monkey Hustle with Yaphet Kotto.
Gotcha.
Yaphet Kotto is in Truck Turner.
Yes.
With Isaac Hayes.
Yes.
Isaac Hayes is in Escape from New York with Kurt Russell.
Very good.
Who's in, what is it, Man Overboard? Or Overboard? Overboard with Goldie Hawn. There you go. I wanted to use Kurt Russell, because you brought up Kurt Russell.
Well, there you
so
go.
I was trying to weave in Kurt Russell.
And he is Mr. Goldie Hawn.
And he is Mr. Goldie Hawn. But you can get to Goldie Hawn immediately just by with Dick Anthony Williams and Wesley Snipes, and then you get the Wildcats.
Wildcats. Why don't I know that movie?
Because remember, she was the high school coach,
Oh, that's right.
the high school football
That's right,
coach.
That's right. That's right. Okay.
Very early Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Very early Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, that's real early.
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes. All right. Well, very good.
Yeah,
Vincent.
there you go.
You knocked it out.
There
and
you
you
go.
got Overboard, which
And I got Overboard.
my sister Adrian will be happy to hear. That
It's a really funny movie.
It's a very funny movie.
Yeah.
That is her favorite movie of all time.
It's not a bad choice.
So much so that not only does she know the script by heart, not only do her children know the script by heart, now her grandchildren know the script by heart. The movie comes on and they just sit there reciting the entire film.
Not a bad choice.
Not a bad time at the theater.
Yeah.
Not a bad time at the theater. All right.
All right.
Very good, Vincent. Very proud of you. All right. Well, with that over with, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into our review.
Let's get into
And with
it.
this review, you had best expect no mercy.
Expect no mercy.
Oh, I gotta bring up the information on the movie. My bad. Because we are not going to do any trailer talk, because I've learned that we can get into trouble doing that.
Yes.
We're not going to do that.
This is in trailer talk. But have you watched The Bear?
The TV show, The
Yeah.
Bear? Yeah.
Oh my God! Why didn't you tell me to watch The Bear?
I mentioned it on the show.
You've never told me to
I
watch The
did
Bear.
so.
You did not tell me to watch The Bear, and you should have.
I did.
I mainlined it on the plane ride.
Oh my God, the
Super.
show it's phenomenal.
So good.
It's so good.
All right, come on, let's go.
Yes.
All right.
I did mention it on the show.
Did not tell
and
me
you
to
said
watch
that you
The
hadn't
Bear.
watched it. And I said you should watch The Bear.
Well, you should have said it more vigorously.
I think if I remember when I said it, its season wasn't done. So I was saying I'm watching The Bear.
So good.
Oh my God, that's a good show. Meaty show.
Oh.
Man, funny.
What a cast.
It's a fantastic cast. The setting of it it feels real.
Yeah.
It's set in this, like a meat shop in Chicago. Oh my God, it's so good.
All right, let's go.
So good. So good. All right. Okay. Expect no mercy, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
1995 action science fiction film written and directed by Zale Dalen,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
starring one Billy Blanks as agent, wait for it, Justin Veneer.
You know what? After Lincoln, Washington, I can't even be mad.
You can't be
this.
mad at that
I
one,
can't
right?
be.
You can't.
You know what?
You can't. Everybody else gets a pass.
White script writers who have never met any black people in their entire lives get a pass for the next 6 months.
But there's the thing about Justin Veneer, and I'll talk about it later. See if you pick up on it. Stars Billy Blanks, Jalal Murray as Agent Eric.
Why don't he have no last name?
Nobody else has a last name.
Well, Justin Veneer does.
It's Justin. He's the only person that.
And I
has
guess
a last
Warbuck has one name.
It's Wolf Larson stars as Warbeck. Anthony the longest is Damien. The aforementioned Michael Blanks is Spider. Rio Andrews, that's his real name, is Alexander. And a very young and obviously unaware what she was in for, Laurie Holden plays Vicky.
Yeah.
You know Laurie Holden from some much better fare as The Walking Dead.
Yeah. How about that?
In this film, that premise, so that I'll spare Vincent this torture. A virtual reality martial arts academy.
Wait, a what?
Yes. Let me run that back for you in case you missed it. A virtual reality martial arts academy is being used as a front
Oh no!
for a group of highly skilled assassins. And the U.S. government has called in their own top martial arts master, one Agent Justin Veneer,
Justin Veneer.
to put a stop to this gang of killers.
That's right.
This was Vincent's selection
Look.
for this stop
Look.
on Mother, May I Have Another One of Those Bad Black Movies?
Yes, it was.
What do you have to say for yourself, Vincent?
Well, the first thing that I have to do, frankly, is apologize a little bit. Not because this film is terrible, because that is the premise of this whole month, and all of these films are terrible. But I have to say there is a good chance that I probably cheated a little bit. As we all know, the mission is we review every black film that has been released in theaters. Or over the past few years, we've kind of massaged it a bit and said, things that went to film festivals and went on the circuit. I don't know if Expect No Mercy was ever in the actual theaters.
Outside of the theater of Billy Blank's mind, no, you're correct.
Because this film is very much an example of the type of films that came out, I'd say starting in the mid-'80s.
Yeah, probably
Starting
mid to
in
later 80s.
Mid to late 80s, well into the 90s, of direct-to-video films that had, for our younger missionaries, you have to understand there was this really fertile, and we can talk about the quality that came out during the period, but there was this fertile moment where cable was 24 hours. And the transition from television on a 12-hour schedule to a 24-hour schedule, and the advent of video stores where you would go and you would rent videos to come in and watch. People needed product. People needed product.
You needed stuff on those shelves.
You needed stuff on the shelves. We have 24 hours of this television station to fill. So you had this proliferation of these films that
This is
were
probably when the adage "content is king" came into.
It really is. And this is a perfect example of the type of martial arts film that was rushed out in a number of months, dare I say weeks, on a shoestring budget and sent to the video stores, or it would play on cable. I mentioned last week, I know I saw this movie because I saw all of the Billy Blanks movies. Like, this period of time was when I would come in late. And you know how you come in after being out and you're still kind of revved up. So you can't go to sleep. And I would come in and my brother Damon would be awake. There are 5 years between us. So, if I was like 17, 18 and I'd come in and I'm still kind of amped up, and Damon was like 12 or 13, and he's always been a night owl.
Okay.
So I would come in at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and Damon would be wandering
Right there.
around, right there. So we would sit and watch these movies. Amazingly low budget, amazingly badly acted, amazingly, again, just shoestring budget. But there's a certain charm to them if you like it. If you like it, it's like, look at them trying. And in this realm, in this you had Billy Blanks. And I was always fascinated by Billy Blanks.
You were.
Because he was this low rent kind of action star. that you would see in these movies. You know, there was a
Was
bunch
that
of these.
was the movies like your introduction to him? Were you aware of the whole Taebo thing?
This was way before Taebo.
Oh, okay.
Like, this is years before Taebo.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm
Yeah.
just assuming Taebo waited at this time.
No. Taebo was. I mean, look up Taebo real quick. What year is Taebo?
I thought Taebo was like the 90s.
No. Billy Blanks have been showing up in these movies at least since 1990. I saw.
Really? No, it says in the late 80s, Blanks developed the Taebo workout.
No. I mean Taebo when we found. Like, I know he used to train people, and like he had a studio, but like Taebo when he had the infomercials and all was after the movies.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, it very much was, and the hair always tells.
You go by the hair.
Yeah, because he's always been Taebo. Billy Blanks was always bald, but that little piece of hair
Okay, that's true.
that he has on top of his head,
Yeah.
that's actor Billy Blanks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
and this film is a perfect example of what you get during this period. It is, you know, as you said, this agent is going undercover and they're using virtual reality. And it's very much a mid-90s sort of depiction of technology by people who don't understand any of this, which in their defense, in 1995, most people didn't understand any of this. Like, unless you, like, I have a friend who's he's actually a computer engineer right now, and I'll never forget, he told me in probably 92, 93, he told me I should get an electronic mail account. And I laughed at him and said, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my mouth, in my life, an electronic mail. And I said to him, am I going to use electronic stamps for my electronic mail? And I laughed at him and told him he was a dummy. And then I went off in my ignorant way and got a milkshake or something. So, you know, the mid-90s, people didn't know. So you have this depiction of virtual reality and the training sequences. And the other thing that's probably really important to understand is that the video game Street Fighter comes out in 1987.
Right.
And Mortal Kombat comes out in 1992. So in 1995, you have these movies that are showing, you know, fight.
Yes.
And that's really what it is. And it's a terrible movie. It's a horrible movie. My two real observations, my two like Micheaux mission observations. Well, one's a Micheaux mission observation and one is just a funny observation. We talked about the tension of race and these 90s or 80s to 90s action genre movies when we talked about Action Jackson.
Yes.
And this sort of space where you have this black hero and the template of the action movie where almost by definition there's this homoeroticism that runs through it because it's all these oily, real muscly men. So that the film has to show you that they're heterosexual. Like you think about the love interests in all of Arnold Schwarzenegger's films or
Sylvester
Stallone's films or Jean-Claude Van Damme's films, where they're not even really love interests. It's just women there to say, hey, these guys aren't gay.
Right.
But then you have race involved so that they don't really know how to sexualize these black men in any kind of way. So we talked about in Action Jackson, he was like this strangely almost asexual character. And then in this film, it's amazing to me. They don't even pretend he's going to have a love interest.
Well,
not well, because I thought maybe the woman, you know, there was going to be something between
Vicky.
the two of them. But then the other guy
right.
ends up with her. And then that's just it.
Well, the other guy that you point out is the actor Jaleel Murray.
Right. Who is the, what do they call him? Not the Israeli,
He is Lebanese.
The Lebanese, he's a Lebanese action star.
Right.
Yeah.
So like he is really positioned. Like Billy Blanks is supposed to kind of like bring like the American audience, but he is positioned to bring like the international audience.
Right, but Billy Blanks is very much the lead.
He is, but the other thing, and this goes back to him having the name Justin Veneer. Billy Blanks wasn't the first choice for this role.
Right, I understand that, but I do wonder if the other actor had played this role, would there have been that dynamic?
Would they have moved the love
Right.
interest over?
Because-
okay, well, I
right.
guess then we'll never know.
Right, because he's clearly the hero. Like this is
Yeah,
the
he
case,
does have the big
right,
big
like
fight at the end.
he's the one that they bring in to infiltrate, and like he's clearly
Yeah.
situated at the. And then the other thing is the costume department needs to win a Nobel Peace Prize for the costumes, because the costumes are so terrible.
Oh my God.
They go around the bend to awesome.
Oh really?
So again, it's virtual reality. So they train the fighters at this academy in the VR suite. They had a headset and they fight. And again, it's very much influenced by the video games. If you've ever played Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, it's not just people fighting each other. It's, you fight different people from different disciplines and different time frames, and you fight monsters and all this. And you see a bit of this in this film, where he fights. At one point, when they're in the virtual reality, there's a samurai who shows up whose costume I'm 100% is made out of cardboard.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad.
There's an evil clown.
The clown, yes.
That they fight the clown. There is Fango.
Yes.
Who I thought Fango was going to be a bigger deal. And Fango is a big, muscly white dude who is painted silver with this shock hair behind a wig and two lower fangs like a walrus has. But my absolute favorite costume in the entire film, including Warbeck, who wears capes and these straps, and the female lead whose name I forget, but I do Vicky, but I appreciate that no matter what the circumstance is, no matter what Vicky is doing, Vicky always has on a midriff.
Yes.
Like Vicky's training, she got on a midriff. Vicky is working in the office doing some office work, she got on a midriff.
Yes.
Vicky's undercover, she got on a midriff. Vicky goes to get lunch, she got on a midriff. Like Vicky gonna catch a stomach cold.
Yes.
But my absolute favorite costume in the entire film, the costume where I said, this is the greatest film ever made. At one point, someone is training in the virtual reality. And the operator says, have him fight Bandit. And Bandit is dressed like Hamburglar.
Yes.
Bandit has on an old-timey robber outfit with black and white stripes, a robber mask, and a hat. And he is Bandit.
Yes.
And I said, well, I said, Ruth Carter, I'm glad
You've met your match.
I'm glad you have your Oscars, because if the costume department from Expect No Mercy ever gets a hold of an actual budget, that's ball game for you, Miss Carter.
Yeah, the Hamburglar is like, all he needed was just a bag of McDonald's hamburgers.
Yeah.
And be running away.
Yeah.
It would have been 100% a Hamburglar. The costuming part I thought you were going to mention was when Billy Blanks is called to infiltrate this virtual reality martial arts academy. And he pulls up to the academy, gets out of his car.
That's right.
And he's got this, I don't know, this members only type jacket on.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's got a baseball cap.
Yeah.
He gets out of his car, stops a beat and feels the need to turn his baseball cap around.
Because he's undercover.
He
remembers he's undercover.
He's undercover. Turn his baseball cap around and unzip his jacket down to his belly button.
Yeah.
Because, of course, he has on no shirt.
Well, if you got muscles like that, you don't need no
Underneath.
shirt. Muscles keep you warm.
So that his brown can show as he runs up the steps with his black sweatpants with one leg tucked into his white socks.
Yeah.
That is a choice.
Yeah. And it's one that he commits to. Because at one point, when he's in virtual reality and his avatar shows up in virtual reality, the first thing he does in this super scientific, technological landscape of virtual reality is unzip his virtual reality shirt so that you can see his virtual reality chest.
Oh my God. Oh my God. First of all, shame on you for selecting this movie.
How you gonna say is it May?
It is May. It is May. But we didn't have to watch this because it was direct-to-video.
Is it May?
It's May.
Okay.
And it may be one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Is this May?
This movie. First of all,
Because we haven't even mentioned Spider. You talked
We
about
didn't even
Spider.
mention-
You didn't say what Spider's deal was.
well, Spider he's one of the,
Wait, I'm mixing Spider up with the other guy.
You're
Who's
missing
the
it
other
with
guy?
Alexander.
Alexander, whose deal is he has an iguana
He has an iguana
that he takes with him on missions.
to all of his missions, not to sick on people,
No,
just to leave in the back while he goes on the mission.
he's a good luck iguana.
Good luck, iguana.
I said, well, sure, good luck. You know what I mean? Look, shit, we got clowns bouncing around.
First of all,
Do you dress like Hamburglar?
I'm mad that this movie steals the plot of Enter the Dragon. This is 100% the plot of Enter the Dragon. The government goes to who they feel is a martial arts artist.
Yeah.
Who they can sneak in
Yeah.
to this academy.
Yeah.
That is in some far-flung place.
Yeah, I think it's like upstate New Jersey.
Right. Where he will blend in.
Well, hey, he turned his baseball cap around.
Job well done, Billy Blanks. Where obviously these virtual reality martial artists only practice their martial arts in the virtual reality. Because when you see them in actual reality,
Right.
going there, it is some of the most uncoordinated, baffling pieces. If they had just done Taebo, it would have looked so much more coordinated.
The Taebo tapes are much more in sync than this.
Then this was horrible.
Well, you know what it is. You can tell. All jokes aside about the costumes. Did you notice no one's uniform
Fit.
or matched?
No.
I think they just told people if you have a black shirt, just show up.
Or black pants.
Or black pants.
Yes.
Black undershirt, fine. Black vest, fine. Black overalls, fine. Black half shirt, fine.
Just make it black.
Just make it black and
We'll
show
make it
up.
work.
Yeah.
And they made it work.
And you're talking about they stole the plot from Enter the Dragon. Like quietly when they were doing the training and when he first started training and then the operator said, well, let's try this. I said, did the Matrix steal this from Expect No Mercy?
No, I don't want to think that.
It made me uncomfortable.
It's a little eerie though.
It made me like at one point they actually went to like a dojo and I was like, is he really? Like I kept waiting for the dude to say free your mind.
I know. There is one moment though where I can't believe I actually did laugh. It gave me a genuine laugh in this movie.
Oh, what was that?
The big fight at the end
Yes.
with Billy Blank's agent Justin Veneer
Yes.
fighting Wolf Larson
Wolf Larson. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
as Warbeck.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Their big fight, which is easily, and I lie to you not, ladies and gentlemen, 15 minutes too long. It is already about 10 minutes, and then there's a whole nother 15 minutes of this fight.
All the fight sequences are so long
And slow.
Like you would think, speaking of the Matrix, like you would think this was the most well choreographed, almost dance.
But there is a moment where Wolf Larson gets a punch, like a couple of shots in on Billy Blanks, and knocks him to the ground. And he turns from Billy Blanks and he says, "Ha! I thought you were going to be much more competition." And he turns around only for Billy Blanks to kick him square in his face.
Yes.
I howled at that moment. I said, that was beautiful. It was so edited perfectly. It was
Right.
like in mid-sentence where he caught him in his jaw. I was like, oh my God, could there be more? What, can we stop the scene? But no, the scene has to continue on for another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
At which point, Wolf Larson and Billy Blanks proceed to take off each other's shirt so that they can continue in sweaty abundance for the rest
Again,
of the fight.
And this is why you would think they would establish that Justin Veneer is a real man
No, they
who
don't.
likes women.
No.
But you don't get that.
No, you don't get that. You don't get that at all. And Billy Blanks, let's be fair. You said that he was like a little bit of a low rent, action hero. Billy Blanks, if you look at him, his physique, his hairline notwithstanding, you would think that he might make it as an action hero. Actually shows up in some bit parts in some of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies and stuff like that.
Here's and we'll talk about this much more next week with
Yes.
Solo.
Yes.
I think people did not understand the charisma. People underestimated the actual charisma that someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger had.
Mm-hmm.
And much like we have talked about the flailing about that a lot of the studios did trying to recreate Eddie Murphy and not really understanding what made Eddie Murphy Eddie Murphy. I think there is a whole genre of films that did the same thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Yeah.
where we'll just get a muscle guy and put him. He even tried. There are even one or two moments in here where Justin Veneer tries to have a little one-liner.
Oh, there's more than a few.
Time for you to get steam cleaned.
Yeah.
And I do think I think there are certain actors that have that it factor that you can't quantify. You can't bottle and you can't recreate. So as much as Billy Blanks had a pretty long career in this lane. Like he made 7-8 movies. But he's just not.
No.
It's just not there.
No.
Like I'm so glad that Taebo worked because I like.
Yeah, because they wanted the brother to.
Or I love a brother to win.
And he won.
He won. He won.
Yes.
But I'm not surprised at all that he never.
And to be fair, the history was there. He started his career as in martial arts. As a trainer. And then because
He's clearly a martial artist.
right, and because he's like a trainer to the stars, and they see the physique and everything like that, he gets a connect into the movies. That history had been written earlier with Bruce Lee.
Right.
The difference is, like you said, there's an it factor that you just don't have.
If you look at episodes of The Green Hornet, where Bruce Lee started as the sidekick, cannot take your eyes off of him.
Even when he's just there.
I was just about to
Even
say,
when he's just
even
standing
when
there.
he's not doing martial arts.
Yep.
Like the scenes where he and the Green Hornet are kind of just talking, you cannot take your eyes off of Bruce. Some people just have it.
Yeah. And
Billy Blanks does not.
He's blank.
At least in this context.
he's shooting blanks.
Right. Nicely done. Nicely done. So are we done with the movie?
Not yet.
Okay, go ahead.
Would you recommend that people see Expect No Mercy?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you like I do think I do think
Unless.
No. I do honestly think that there are some people that were too young to know what we're talking about.
Okay.
Like this moment in time that we've seen kind of a shadow of over the past couple of years when all of the new streaming sites, all the streaming services took off, and we got this huge proliferation of content. Some of it better than others.
Right.
I do think there's an entire generation of people who don't really understand. Like there was a whole subgenre in film industry. You know, you talk about Canon and you know, Golden Globus and these companies. And I feel like you should see an example of something from this period. And I don't think this movie is any worse. Like if you put your hand in a hat and pulled out one of these movies and you pulled out Expect No Mercy, and like I've never seen one, you know, I'm 30 years old, I've never seen any of these movies. I put my hand in a hat and I pulled one out and it was Expect No Mercy. And I go, all right, go ahead. You watched it, now you know. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's May. I'm not going to recommend any of this shit. I mean, you recommend it?
No, I'm not.
right. I mean,
I'm not going to expect.
I mean, it's May.
If you reach into the hat, you pull out Expect No Mercy.
Right.
You put this on. Now you will shoot your hand because you do not need
Look,
to.
if your
watch
hand is in this hat,
in this hat, yes.
you know what you're pulling out.
Yeah, but
What's better than this?
the movie we watched the trailer for? We watched the trailer for another Billy Blanks movie.
TC
TC 2000 with Billy Blanks and Bolo.
Yeah, Bolo was in TC 2000.
See, now that would be better.
Yeah,
just right there.
Right, because it's got Bolo in it.
Just Bolo alone
Bolo.
makes it worth. Now, okay, I will sit through and watch Bolo.
Yeah, Bolo.
I'm not going to watch Billy Blanks and Jalal Marhi, Lebanese superstar.
Oh boy.
No, I'm not.
So can I tell you my favorite Billy Blanks thing of all time?
You don't think we'll get another time to drop this?
This may be the only time that we ever discuss Billy Blanks.
For quite some time.
For quite some time.
Oh, certainly.
So this is my favorite Billy Blanks thing of all time. No exaggeration. I think about this at least once every 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
Billy Blanks has a son named Billy Blanks Jr. Billy Blanks Jr. was married, because I looked it up and they got a divorce in 2016, to Charnel Brown. Do you know who Charnel Brown is? Well, you know who Charnel Brown is, but do you know who Charnel Brown is?
No.
Charnel Brown was the actress that played Fun Girl on the episode of Good Times. That it was speaking of cutting edge technology. It was the CB episode where Michael was pretending to be JJ on the CB, and he was talking to Fun Girl, and she played Fun Girl because she liked to have fun. She liked to go roller skating. She liked to go mountain climbing. She liked to dance. And come to find out that Fun Girl was paralyzed and was wheelchair bound. So she was lying about all this.
Oh.
And that the show was about how you lose your identity in CB culture. It's very cutting edge. So she played her. She also played one of the students at Hillman on Different World,
Oh, okay.
where there was an episode where Gladys Knight came to campus and there was a contest to be Gladys Knight's backup dancers. And Brown played a girl who wanted to do it with Jaleesa and Whitley.
Okay.
And then she kind of showboated and got it. So those are her bona fides. But most importantly,
Okay.
she's the daughter of Johnny Brown.
Johnny Brown from
Most famously from Good Times, who played Bookman. So what that means is that Johnny Brown and Billy Blanks for a long time were in-laws.
Oh.
And at least once every 3 months, I think about what happened when Billy Blanks and Johnny Brown met for the first time.
Now wait a minute. Are you sure you're?
I'm 100% sure.
Hold on.
Or am I sure what?
Only because I looked up Charnel Brown.
Yeah.
And the first Charnel Brown that's coming up, I see, is Karen Charnel Brown, who played Kimberly on A Different World. And I know that's not who you're speaking
That's not who I'm talking about at all.
of. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's another. There's another
Yes.
Charnel Brown. Because I want to see if I know this person.
Look up Fun Girl
You think
from Good Times.
I'm scared. Okay. Maybe
Yeah, don't just don't do fun.
I don't know. Fun Girl, Good Times. I don't know, Vince. I try to keep my phone.
You got her?
I got a separate pad for certain Google searches. I see her.
Yes.
I do see her now. Sharon Brown.
Sharon. I said Charnel. Sharon.
Sharon Brown.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, married to Billy Blanks Jr.
Because I don't really care about neither one of them. What I really think about is Johnny Brown and Billy Blanks sitting and talking. And like, what did they talk about? What did Billy Blanks and Johnny Brown talk about? Did they get along? Did Billy Blanks like Good Times? Was he one of those black people that thought Good Times brought down the race?
If Johnny Brown could throw a kick, Billy Blanks had a role for him.
Did Billy Blanks try and get Johnny Brown in shape? Like, what did they talk about, Lynn?
I hope he didn't try to get him in shape, because that was not a successful story.
I mean, right, but like, what did Johnny Brown, what did Bookman and Billy Blanks talk about?
I don't know, Vince.
At least once every 3 months, I think about that. That's the truth. That is the truth. I sit and I think, Johnny Brown and Billy Blanks were in-laws. I used to say they are in-laws. I mean, before Johnny Brown passed.
Before we tell you what we're going to be watching next week, ladies and gentlemen,
Now it will haunt you too.
I invite you to
I
follow
guarantee you,
the Micheaux
3 months
Mission.
from now,
2 men,
you'll
1
say,
podcast. Every
Johnny
black
Brown
film
and
ever
Billy
made.
Blanks
Go to
talked
MicheauxMission.com where you can hit swag and check out all the cool designs we have for your buying pleasure by way of our good friends at TeePublic. You can also like the Micheaux Mission and follow us on social media of your choice on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Micheaux Mission. Subscribe to the Micheaux Mission on YouTube, where you can become one of our followers and never miss any of the cool content that we're putting up. We put up 3 new shorts just today as we broke down the top 5 They Should Be Legends. So look for that on YouTube at Micheaux Mission. The Micheaux Mission, if you want to get in contact with us, is available by way of email. You can email the Micheaux Mission at micheauxmission@gmail.com, or why don't you leave us a voicemail? I know you want to do it. I had somebody actually reach out to me asking for the number because they intend to leave us a voicemail at 215-867-9666. That's 215-867-9666. Leave us a voicemail and let us know what's on your mind. The Micheaux Mission is a proud member of The Podglomerate. ThePodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work. And we are brought to you live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. from the Video Content Factory in Manayunk. VideoContentFactory.com, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. And it is palatial in here. Can't you tell? It's beautiful. And it's only going to get better. So get in contact with Terry. Get in contact with Devon. You can't talk to Dylan because he's ours. All right.
I bet Johnny Brown is the one who told Billy Blanks to shave his head.
Next week on the Micheaux Mission, ladies and gentlemen, we continue with Mother, May I Have Another One of Those Bad Black Movies. And it is my time to bring you a film that I actually have always wanted to see, but it was a movie that I prejudged for years as one that I wouldn't enjoy. And now, thanks to the mission, I get my opportunity to finally sit down and watch one of my favorite actors in the world, star of rapping himself, Mario Van Peebles, was tired of playing just another cop, couldn't hack it as a rapper, and some say was just so-so as a cowboy. So now Mario Van Peebles tries his hand as an android.
Android soldier. That's right.
An android soldier for hire in Solo. 1996.
He was also a Jamaican oceanographer in Jaws 3D.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
How can you forget Mario Van Peebles' Jamaican accent in dreadlock wig as a Jamaican oceanographer in Jaws 3D?
Because I only saw that movie the one time in the movie theaters.
I mean, this is sure kind of was going at your face.
Oh my God. I was young when I watched that movie and I knew it was a piece of shit. I've never returned to it. Never returned to it. But he found his way to Solo, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's right, Solo.
Next week here on the Micheaux Mission. Until then, he's Vincent. I'm Len. And in parting, we say,
We'll see you when it's time to meet again.